A competitive congressional race is a rare thing in Massachusetts. The 9-seat delegation is almost always entirely Democratic, and the outcome of most races is seen as a foregone conclusion. But the exception to that rule could be in the 6th district, where incumbent John Tierney just barely defeated Republican Richard Tisei last cycle, amid widespread media coverage of Tierney's wife Patrice's legal woes. This year, Tierney could face Tisei again, but only if he defeats 3 primary opponents, including my guest, Marisa DeFranco, an immigration attorney who's hoping to convince Democrats she stands a better chance of beating Tisei than Tierney does. Marisa, welcome to Greater Boston.
Thank you for having me, Adam.
A lot of people were very impressed by you when you ran against Elizabeth Warren for the U.S. Senate a couple years ago, and expected you to make a run for some sort of state office, whether it was statewide office or a position on Beacon Hill in the legislature. Why did you not take that path?
Well, this path, the congressional path, is a federal path, and I'm complimented that people thought I might run statewide, but Congress is really where my passion is. I'm an immigration attorney. Federal law is my background and my expertise, and that is where I have the knowledge and where I shine on the solutions that really need to be taken at the federal level to help small businesses, to help women, to protect our civil rights.
What is your beef with John Tierney, the incumbent?
There's no beef, Adam. It's just,
well,
I think
there must be something of a beef. You're running against him.
Well, I am running against him because he's been the congressman for 17 years. Actually, interestingly enough, the exact amount of time that I've been in business myself as a small business and representing small businesses. And my issue is that he hasn't been good for small businesses. The district needs job growth. It's not seeing that job growth, and mediocre is not good enough.
Let me ask you, when you say he has not been good for small businesses and cite a lack of job growth in the district, it's hard for a president to control economic development in the country.
Sure.
Isn't it really, really difficult for one congressperson to affect economic development in their district?
No, they can actually, there's specific steps they can take. And interestingly enough, one of my first, I did ideas through my email contacts, right? And my very first one was tax breaks for small businesses. And I mean serious tax breaks. And wouldn't you know, a couple of weeks after that, my opponent introduced a bill to bring back the SBA loan, Small
Business Association.
Right, that had lapsed in 2011. Now tell me, they lapsed in 2011. Why did he wait until 2014 to bring those loans back? But truth be told, actually small businesses, Adam, they're not that jazzed about the SBA loans because they involve a lot of red tape. So my position is let's go really to the core of where businesses need it, and it's tax breaks. And that's only one of my many solutions. I
want to talk more policy in a moment, but first I have to ask you about poll numbers. There have been a couple polls released recently that show not inspiring numbers for you or Tierney's other challengers. John Tierney floating around 60%, maybe a little over, you and Seth Moulton at 10% or a little under. Can you realistically make up that much ground in a short period of time between now and September?
Well, first of all, I don't give any credibility to those polls because it's one is under 300 people, and it's
the
an
intimate College polling society, right?
And you know that any poll less than 400 is not worth the paper it's written on. So I have no credence in them. But the second thing is that I'll take the 3,000 plus voters, actual voters that we talked to in the district who signed my nomination papers, and overwhelmingly, you know, we had about 70% of the people with us. So I'll take the people on the ground and the polls that we've been doing.
You've been doing some internal polling, and
yes.
What does it show?
Very strong, and actually shows that I'm the strongest person to go up against Richard Tisei.
Okay. A couple months ago, you weren't included in a Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee poll.
That's right.
And made an appearance on Fox News with Greta Van Susteren, in which you made a pretty provocative charge. Let's take a look at what you had to say.
Okay.
A Democratic congressional candidate accusing her own party, the Democratic Party, of waging a war on women.
They're afraid of someone like me who speaks her mind, is independent-minded from the party, and is not going to kowtow to the follow-the-leader mentality. I have my own ideas on immigration reform. I have my own ideas on health care.
So do you believe there's a Democratic war on women?
Well, in this instance, it is, because they purposefully left me off the poll, which at the time, Adam, I was the only one who had my signatures. I was the only qualified candidate for the ballot. So that just doesn't happen by happenstance. And, you know, I'll put my record of women's rights against all of my opponents because none of them have won a national award for their pro bono service that I've done.
What was the national award that you won?
The Beacon of the NLADA Beacon of Justice Award.
So what is NLAD?
National Legal Aid and Defenders Association. I believe they're the biggest, they're one of the biggest legal services in the country. And 32 people earned that award in the whole nation, and I was one of them. And that was for my pro bono work.
Marisa DeFranco, I wish we had a little more time. We'll try to catch you again either in studio or in the field. Thank you for being here. Much appreciated.
Thank you so much, Adam.
And good luck.